What is a crazy medical fact that most people don't know about? I can't declare a hypothermic person deceased until we warm them to room temperature. They're not dead until they're warm and dead. Damn, I thought Grey's Anatomy made that up. Nope. There has been several cases of people drowning in very cold water for an extended period that not only were revived, but had minimal brain damage. My friend woke up naked in the morgue with a toe tag on. He had been surfing in California, and the cord connecting him to his board got snagged on a rock underwater. He remembers seeing the surface but not being able to reach it. His girlfriend fished him out, called 911, and did CPR for about 45 minutes until they arrived. When they got there, they said, "Nope, he's dead." She said, "Are you sure? Because I thought..." They said, "Nope, he's dead," and they bagged and tagged him. He woke up in the morgue. No brain damage, still some trauma around it. Edit. Interestingly and unrelated, this friend has also been hit by lightning twice. He's either really lucky or really unlucky. I can't figure out which. When you get a kidney transplant, they don't take out your original kidneys, so you have 3 kidneys after a transplant. Also, they transplant the new kidney into your abdomen and it sits on top of your pelvis hip area. If you get multiple transplants, they just keep adding new kidneys in. I've known of patients who've had 6 kidneys. I learned a lot about this during my kidney transplant 6 years ago. 6 kidneys is insane. You'd think they'd run out of space after a while. The human body is mostly space, especially the part in between my kids' ears. If you have polycystic kidneys, they sometimes have to take one or both out in order to put the new transplanted one in. This happened with me. Both my original kidneys were the size of footballs and weighed a great deal. I was born with just 1 kidney, so I've come to accept that most people have double the amount of kidneys I do. But finding out some folks have 6 times the amount of kidneys I do is wild. If a man has fallen and gets a boner, don't move him. It's a sign of spinal injury. Is that a spine injury, or are you just happy to see me? I'm a New York rescue medic for the fire department. It's actually something we check for. People who don't know and see it probably think we're a bunch of pervs. Years ago, my brother was in a motorcycle accident, and both arms plus his pelvis were broken in multiple places each. Striped to nothing in the ER X-ray room, the nurse had to tape the offending organ to his leg. He was already drugged at that point and has no memory of anything after the accident. That's quite the story. Thankfully, it's the only my brother's boner story I have. It's the only my brother's boner story you have so far. And if he dies from the fall and this still happens, he is diagnosed with Die Hard. A defibrillator actually stops your heart. It's up to your body to restart things correctly. The equivalent of the IT guy asking if you've tried turning it off and on again. Yep, I have a wiring defect in my heart and have been rebooted 3 times. 2 times while still conscious. And if your heart isn't beating at all, a defibrillator can't be used either. That's why you see them doing chest compressions, stopping and listening, reading the machine to see if there is any shockable rhythm. If not, they resume CPR and check again after a while. My 6-month-old son had to have a hole in his heart patched. They stopped his heart, patched it with a piece of cow heart, and then pumped a potassium solution through his heart, and it started right back up. So they cracked open my kid, turned him into a cowboy, and jump-started the little dude with fancy Gatorade. Pneumothorax, collapsed lung, can just happen. If you sneeze or cough or just breathe wrong, your lung can nope and collapse. Situs inversus, a congenital condition in which the major visceral organs are reversed or mirrored from their normal positions, which I only learned about when reading about Catherine O'Hara, Home Alone, Schitt's Creek. Apparently her organs, like heart, lungs, etc., are flipped to the opposite sides of her body. My grandfather had this. Made his doctors very confused when he had an appendicitis, and pain was on the wrong side. We got to modern medicine by grave robbing, crime, and accidents. It wasn't always legal to be a doctor. Don't forget wars. Your immune system can just decide to attack whatever it can decide that your hair follicles are a deadly threat and make you bald. It can go after your spinal cord and make it so your legs feel like they're on fire 24/7. It can attack your organs and cause damage severe enough to necessitate a transplant. It can eat holes in your brain. It can tear up your joints. You can even wake up blind because your eyes were on your immune system's hit list for today. I think people are aware of autoimmune conditions, but I think most people don't think about how much can go wrong. Hey, this happened to me. I woke up blind on day, and after a hospital visit and MRI, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It sucks and has ruined my life. My immune system decided it didn't like moisture-producing glands, and I lost my teeth due to the complete lack of saliva. Thanks, immune system. My brother, healthy young man in his early 30s, had something where his immune system just started dissolving his nerves. He quickly lost function in both his hands, and by the time he was in hospital, it had started on his feet. It took about a year of treatment for him to get better, but his doctors don't think he will get full control of his hands again. Did you know that your body can randomly develop allergies to things you've never reacted to before? It's like a surprise party from your immune system, but not the fun kind. Happened to me with bananas, of all things. Always keep an eye out for unexpected reactions. There are so many wild things living in the microbiome of a human skin. Demodex are a great example. Little mites that live near human hair follicles. They look horrific and they feed off of sebum, sweat, dead skin, etc. Many things are localized too. The things living in your eyelash follicles are not the same as the ones living on your elbows. We're a whole universe, and even our skin is colonized by bizarre little fuckers. The mold from which the first antibiotics were harvested were first discovered from a young French med student, Ernest Duchenne, noticing that Arab stable boys would keep horse saddles in damp, dark places to encourage mold growth. This reduced the amount and severity of saddle sores. Wrote a paper on it but didn't receive credit. Several decades later, and Fleming makes penicillin. The story for Fleming goes that his lab was so filthy that he found penicillin by accident. Nah, he did that on purpose. He'd grow petri dishes and be completely filthy with them to see what would grow. Way before that, Roman soldiers used moldy bread to put on wounds. This was common in medieval times. It's a penicillin mold that grows on bread. Your stomach gets a new lining every few days to prevent it from digesting itself. Maybe not that commonly unknown, but in movies and TV medical emergencies, you always hear the doctor or medics yell, "He's flatlining, get the paddles," and then proceed to shock the patient. You actually do not shock flatline. You shock fibrillations. Heart is beating, but not pumping blood because it's a chaotic rhythm. You actually shock the heart to flatline. It's the human equivalent of turning you off and back on again. This is a very simplified description, but you probably don't want the crazy explanation with all the exceptions to the rules and such. Everyone knows that if you feel a lump in your breast, you gotta get that shit checked out, but there are actually 12 symptoms of breast cancer. The SFW image on this site, an entirely woman-run nonprofit, literally saved my life. My doc did a physical exam, didn't feel a lump, and tried to send me packing, dismissing the weird allergic reaction-looking patch of skin on my chest. Any change in your chest, dimples, dents, skin texture, itching, dry skin, anything, run it by your doctor and trust your gut. In my year of treatment and monthly checkups for the last few years, I always make a point to ask one nurse or doctor if they know there are 12 symptoms, and they don't know. Point being, not that docs suck. There's a lot to learn, women's health is secondary in med school, etc., but that you have to dial in and fight for yourself. Humans can live with one lung, the remaining one will expand and partially fill the rest of the chest cavity, which can lead to cardiac distress. It's not the most pleasant existence, but people have made it up to 30 years like that. I had a teacher in high school who had a lung removed due to cancer. He got wore out pretty easy. He taught a shop class, but seemed rather healthy otherwise. There's certain conditions where your bowel can leak into your stomach and you vomit shit. It's called feculent vomiting. That's enough Reddit for me tonight. Thank you for watching. Write comments, put likes. Do not forget to watch other videos.